Khamzat Chimaev's relentless pressure has turned nearly every opponent who's crossed his path into a victim. Borz is one of the rare fighters in the UFC who makes grappling truly exciting, stalking his opponent like a wolf, attacking the legs, and then sealing the deal with a devastating blow or a choke. So far, only 2 fighters have managed to take him to distance, Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns. Now, a UFC legend believes that Dricus Du Plessis might just be the one capable of pulling off a miracle. The South African is definitely one of the most underrated champions in the UFC. Despite delivering masterclass performances against Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya, and Sean Strickland twice, the doubters remain. It's also true that Du Plessis' upcoming opponent at UFC 319 is an indomitable force. But the champ remains confident in his ability to rise to the occasion. Still, Knox told CBS Sports, "I hope he can take me down. But then he has to deal with me on the ground and keep me there." The UFC legend Chael Sonnen also believes that's the case. If the South African steamroller could get past the first round, it would be able to turn the tide. In an Instagram video, the bad guy said, "How is he gonna beat him? 'Cause I'm not fully confident that Chimaev can take him down at will. I'm not fully confident he can keep him there. We're gonna know in the very first round. If Dricus gets taken down in the first round, things are gonna unravel very quickly. But if he can defend a takedown for the entire first 5 minutes, it's only gonna get easier to stay on your feet after that. It's an exciting match. I would expect Chimaev to be the favorite. And he is. That's definitely an assessment we've heard before nearly every Khamzat Chimaev fight. And while the Kamaru Usman bout gave us a glimpse of its validity, it remains largely untested. However, there's real truth in that statement, especially when it comes to someone like Borz, who carries a solid, muscular frame. For a big, explosive fighter like Borz who likes constant takedown attempts without giving himself time to recover, it could backfire. His muscles will demand more oxygen, and if he doesn't manage his pace or mix things up, fatigue could set in quickly. If that happens, it could be all Du Plessis from the second round onward. That said, the South African steamroller still has to survive the early storm to reap those benefits later. However, according to the odds, the audience seems less confident in his chances. Most believe he's unlikely to get past Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 319 in Chicago. Khamzat Chimaev already enjoys massive backing from fans, especially with his staggering 8-fight winning streak in the UFC, where he's steamrolled nearly everyone in his path. Now, it seems the odds are also swinging in his favor, placing him ahead of reigning champion Dricus Du Plessis by a considerable margin before their anticipated clash at the United Center Arena in Chicago. According to FanDuel, Chimaev opened as a 194 favorite, while Du Plessis comes in with a 150 underdog tag. While these odds are somewhat expected, the fact that Borz is nearly a 2-1 favorite is a big deal for fans. Interestingly, it's not unusual as Chimaev often enters fight week as the favorite in most of his bouts. However, the South African thrives under pressure. Du Plessis is no stranger to the underdog role. He started many of his past fights that way, only to prove the odds wrong. So this time could be no different. As fight week approaches, we're likely to see fluctuations in the betting lines. These are still very early odds, and by August, they could shift dramatically. With that being said, who are you picking before the UFC 319 headlining bout? Is it Khamzat Chimaev's relentless grappling or Dricus Du Plessis' brute strength and unorthodox fighting style? Please comment below.